Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me again for another live community chat session here on my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. I am a full time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and my channel here on YouTube is dedicated to those of you just getting started out in this wonderful world of voiceover and audiobook narration. And through my channel, I share with you some tips and tricks and techniques that I use every day in my own voiceover business. And we get together and chat about different topics in these weekly Q&A community chats. If you're not new here, then you know every week we have a new poll to kick off the topic of the chat. And this week, the poll is, how many clients have you worked with so far? And the reason I ask that is because the main topic is working with global clients today. And I wanted to get an idea of how many clients you guys have worked with so far. So I kind of have a direction as to what I need to cover today, basically. So let's go over to the poll and let's see what you guys say. If you haven't voted, go ahead and vote real quick. Looks like we got some changing votes. So far we have 14 votes. 15 votes. And it looks like the majority of you, 73%, said 0 to 5. 20% of you said 5 to 20. None of you said 20 to 100. And 7% of you said 100 plus. I think that's pretty much my viewership, I think, is people just getting started out. So what we'll do is we'll talk about the things that I have learned so far in my journey. And for those of you that don't know, I started voiceover in, I want to say June of 2017, 2018. So it's been a little over 5 years for me. And I went full time in March of 2020, right as the world shut down for the pandemic. But I've been doing just fine. So, as you know, doing what we do, voiceover artists and audiobook narrators, we have a global base of clients, right? We have international clients because, again, voiceovers represent, or voice artists represent the voices of the world. So it's highly likely that any language and any kind of voice will be needed for a lot of different applications all around the world, right? So we're going to be working with many different international clients. If you're on some of the pay-to-plays or freelance marketplaces, like Badalgo, Voice Giant, Voquent, Fiverr, Upwork, Guru, places like that, you're definitely going to be working with international clients that have access to book you from anywhere in the world. So I think one of the main things that we need to keep in mind when negotiating, having conversations, communicating with these clients is that it's very likely that these clients do not speak the same language that you do. They could be needing your voiceover in your language, and they like your voice and they think it would suit their project, but they don't speak your language. So it's very likely that they could be using a translation service of some sort, or I mean, unless they have someone on their staff that speaks your language. But if they don't, they're going to be using some sort of a translation service. Now, some of these platforms that we work on, and Fiverr immediately comes to mind, there is a translation service within the inbox, right? So you can have conversations with people in their own language and then translate it into your language in the Fiverr inbox so you can see what they're saying. Or you could copy and paste it into Google Translate and figure it out that way. But as you know, different languages are formatted differently. So the communication might not be the same coming from them to how you perceive it. And sometimes things don't come across, maybe they might come across a little bit as rude or curt or short or, something that could be off-putting to you in your language. But we have to remember that what they're saying may not exactly be the tone or the intent that it's coming across as. So we have to we have to exercise a little bit of patience, a little bit of grace for the client, right? If they're asking questions, simply answer their questions. Be polite as possible, right? It's really understanding the customer service hat that you need to wear. Because again, as a business owner, you need to wear several different hats. And one of those is a customer service hat. And I think in some of those situations where the communication doesn't really, it might be off putting to you, we have to remember that it's probably a translated message and to remember that that client is reaching out to you because they're interested in hiring you, right? So be polite, be professional, and have a little patience. Ask clarifying questions if something isn't exactly clear. Um, but treat the client as if how you want to be treated, right? And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes that's hard because different cultures even don't have the same, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? But I guess a lot of cultures don't view things exactly as yours do, right? As far as communication practices. So just have patience, give the client a little grace, ask those clarifying questions to make sure that you're all on the same page. Ask for examples if they have something that they want you to, something close to what they want from you to deliver, right? Give them a little bit of extra grace. And I think we forget that a lot. Um, just in my own experience and talking to a lot of other voice artists from all around the world and clients from all around the world. So just remember that they're trying to do business with you. So extend a little professionalism and courtesy. Another question I get a lot is regarding currency, right? If you're working with international clients, then how do you deal with the currency? Well, if you use a service, and you all know that I use PayPal Business and I swear by it, but if you use a service like that, it'll automatically convert the currency for you, which is a nice thing. And then if you work with some of the sites like Fiverr, Upwork, they will also, once they hold the funds in escrow until the order is complete, it will automatically be converted into your native currency, right? So that is one thing that I really wouldn't worry too much about. But I think it's more about extending a little courtesy and grace to the clients. And I feel a tangent coming on, so I'm going to cut it there. But I'm sure we'll cover many more other things as the conversation goes along today. But I wanted to make sure that I noted that first because I think that is really important, right? All right, let's go over to the comments. Let's turn the poll question off. Let's go over to the comments. And let's see who's first in. Caesar. Hey, Caesar. How you doing, buddy? Caesar says, regretfully, why is this not lighting up? Okay. Regretfully, I have been inundated by business challenges that required immediate and very costly remedies. So I haven't been building up my client list, and that's okay. That's okay. I want to also impress upon you that we go through this phase, especially in the beginning, maybe even midway through our career journey. And I'm not saying that you do, Caesar. This is just reminding me of something that we go through this comparison phase, right? Where we start to compare what other people have done to what we've done. And we forget that other voice artists or business owners, entrepreneurs we all have different journeys, right? So we can't compare what we're doing at 3 months in versus what someone else has been actively growing and working toward for 5 years or for 10 years, right? That's just not apples and oranges, right? Or that is apples and oranges. That's not apples to apples. That's completely different comparison. So when you say that I haven't done this yet or I haven't got this, don't feel bad about that. You're working toward it. You're at the start of your journey. You should be excited and just invigorated and have this energy to go get it. Go get to where this person you admire or who you're following, go get to where they're at. It might take a different amount of time, right? Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's schedules are different. Everybody's availability to do this is different. Everybody's investment of time, money, or whatever it is different. So you can't necessarily compare yourself to somebody else. So just know, make that a goal to get there, right? You will eventually get there if you put in the time and energy and, into getting it. But I understand what you're saying too, Caesar. Speed bumps. Speed bumps come up. And it's not so much what it is or what it does to you, it's how you react to it, right? We've all heard that quote. It's not so much what the obstacle is. I forget exactly how it's quoted, but I think you get my meaning. It's not exactly what it is, it's how you react to it. It's how you deal with it that matters, right? Caesar then says, the good news, however, is that many people are eager to work with me. I am not surprised, Caesar, which is a promising sign. I'd say so. So apart from tying up loose ends this year, I plan on starting the next year strong. And I think that is the best thing you could say, especially at this point in the year. Set yourself up, set up all the foundations to your businesses. Put everything that we talk about in these weekly community chats, all of my videos, all of everybody else's videos that you've watched, put all of that stuff into place and create a solid foundation to start 2024 off strong with. That is the best thing you can do, right? Even if you haven't had a client yet, or you haven't, really actually put that foot forward to take that first step yet, knowing that you will next year and have a solid foundation to stand on and to build that career on is still progress, is still one of the best steps forward I think you could take. That's awesome, Caesar. Caesar then says, that said, hello, Angela. Hello, Caesar. Hello, everyone. I'm hoping to receive that new mic I purchased last September this week. That took a while to get that, all right? I was almost scammed out of it. And well, it's a long story. We'll update Discord soon. Oh boy. I hope everything arrives okay. Dylan's here. Hey, Dylan. How you doing? Good morning, all. Just got all of my socials set up. Good job. Everybody go follow Dylan Holt VO. That makes it easy, makes you easy to find. I've only worked with 8 clients so far, but like Caesar, I'm planning on hitting next year hard with 2 new releases in January. That's good. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome. And just be sure that you take care. And not just you, Dylan, but for any clients that you have had, take care of them. Make sure that you are flexible when you need to be flexible with them, because you want them to be repeat. You want them to be with you for a while. You want them to keep you in mind when they need something else, right? So treat them all with some kindness and professionalism, right? And if they need you to be flexible once or twice, consider it. And not only timing, but maybe even pricing. Why not? Who else is here? Rustic Hillbilly. Morning, folks. Morning, Rustic Hillbilly, and happy holiday season. Yes, it's coming. It's a-coming. How many days left till Christmas? 20 days. Hope you started your Christmas shopping. Caesar then says, I think January is going to be extra special for a lot of us. I feel it too. I think 2024 is going to be a great year. Glowen's new setup with the NT1 Signature and Scarlet Solo is absolute silk. And I don't doubt he'll have a strong start in 2024. That's good. That's good. And then Dylan asks, so he figured out his quality. That's awesome. Yes. Miriam's here. Good morning, Miriam. Hi, Angela. I like your little icon. Hi, Angela and all. I have a meeting to head into. We'll try to join once that is over. That's awesome. Team replay. Team replay. Caesar says, yep, Glowen finally got rid of his drop-shipped white label podcasting kit and got himself a proper mic and interface. And it really brings his voice out under the best light. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. And I think is one of the toughest parts in the beginning, right? Figuring out the tech, figuring out what works and what doesn't, what works well together in harmony together. And if for any of you in that stage, don't despair. You will get there. It just will take time. As with anything else, it'll take the time that it needs to take. So again, don't compare yourself to somebody else, right? Be like, hey, that guy that started around the same time I did, he's already getting work and I'm not. I'm still figuring out which mic to use. Okay, well, once you figure out the mic to use, then you can get started, right? It's not a race. It's something that you're planning. If it's something that you're planning to do and your heart is in it and you want to do this, it's going to take the time that it takes, right? To get there. Awesome. Shanna Stoker is here, the ghoulish gal. I love that username. Hi. Hello, all. Hello, hello. Pamela McDonald. Hi from LA. What's the weather like in LA today? The only thing I miss about Southern California, I think, is the ocean, is being close to the water. Dylan says, that's great. I'm super excited to hear him. Yep, so we'll get to hear him on Thursday, I'm hoping. Writer Dude says, good morning. Grabbing one more coffee while the music plays. Sweet. I probably need to make myself another pot. It's time. Tim Gleason says, hi, gang. Hi, Angela. Hi, Tim. Oh, look at the little kitty on your little picture there. That's cute. Tanya's here, or Tanya. I'm sorry. I'm used to just saying Tanya. Tanya's here. Hey, Angela, you look bleak. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Shanna says, Orlando here. What's the weather like in Orlando? I'm sure sunny from the Sunshine State, right? Craig Davis is here. Good morning, Craig Davis. Good morning, Angela. Don't get in as much because I'm doing VO projects. Well, that's a good reason. That's a good problem to have. Being busy. That's right. Tanya says, I can't wait to work with my first client. Yes, and it might sneak up on you, right, when you get that first client. It could be someone reaching out to you to do some work with them when you're not even like auditioning or soliciting, right? You could be just working on something else and all of a sudden you get this order that's placed from somewhere and you're just like, oh, okay, cool. Let's get this done. Now what? But just be sure to treat that client well. You want them to come back. You want to retain them. Craig Davis says, if you're focusing on international, I changed my vote, but have done thousands. Not necessarily just international clients. Could be any clients, because I realize that most of my viewership is on the beginning, sort of like closer to the beginning stage of getting started. But of course, anybody of any skill and knowledge level is welcome to hop into the chat and offer their golden nuggets too. That's sort of why we do this. We just get together. I have a topic. And then if you have something to add, if you've got 20, 30, 10, 20, 30 years of experience, then please, add your comments into the comments. Even if you're watching this replay later, don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button. I appreciate it. But you can also leave your comments there for people who watch it also in the replay. They can see your golden nuggets that you choose to share. Same. I've thousands. I'm probably easily in the thousands. But I just wanted to get an idea of where everybody was at. Danielle Musticato says, good morning. Good morning, Danielle. I've had 3 jobs with the same client that reached out to me. Nice. I just put up my first auditions on ACX this past weekend. Good for you. Good for you. And don't forget to also add those auditions as samples as well. So you can work both sides of finding work on ACX. Dylan says, no, let the tangents flow. There's always good advice in them. I appreciate that, but don't encourage the tangents. They will overrun our session. Caesar says, I love tangents. They're very tart and juicy. Colette says, hi, everybody. Hi, Colette. Eric's here. Good morning. Good morning, Eric. How you doing? Shanna says, will you make a series on the business side of VO, taxes, licensing, etc.? I know some of my videos on my channel are a little old. Don't judge. Because I've switched over to the live sessions every Tuesday. But I want to say that I might have a couple that touch on the business side of this. But good idea. I can definitely, because things are always changing. So I'm sure things have been updated, or I've found new ways to do things in the last couple of years. So that's a great idea. So I will definitely take your advice to heart. Great idea. Great idea. David Horn is here. Hi, Angela. Hi, David. Just finished construction on my vocal booth. I designed after the VO1 booth. That is so cool. If you're in my Facebook group, please post pictures. Please post pictures. I'm sure there's other people that would love, if they have the space, the availability, the know-how to build their own. They might get a little inspiration or direction from looking at someone else's pictures, right? Spread the love, David. Spread the love. And congratulations. Mary HPVO is here. Happy Tuesday. Hope your coffee and VO dreams are coming true. You're awesome. My coffee, maybe not. Could be a little warmer. Hence another pot, right? MG Stevens is here. Hello, Angela and everyone. I'm listening on the road. Where are you going? I'm so nosy. Where are you going? Where are you going? Glowen's here. Hey, Glowen, man of the hour. Good morning. I have voiceover Angela in chat. I'm late to the party. So as per Angela's rules, I've brought donuts, Boston cream, honey crullers, and apple fritters. I love cherry fritters. I'll still eat the apple fritter. I would not turn away a fritter, period. But thank you for bringing the donuts. It's okay. We were talking about you, Glowen, Caesar and Dylan and I guess. We were talking about the way that you've, or the fact that you've figured out your sound issues, got yourself a new mic and a interface and things. Anxious to hear it on Thursday. Caesar says, dibs on the Boston cream. It's all yours, buddy. All yours. Bear338 is here. I am having a blast just reading out loud until my parts and pieces for my studio gets here. And that's good practice for anyone else, including Bear338. Reading out loud while you're waiting on whatever it is that you're waiting on. If you're waiting on studio gear, which it sounds like you are, or anything else, if you're kind of in a holding pattern, or if you're waiting on, like you've already done everything else that you could possibly do, which there's always something to do. So having the probability of that's probably slim anyway, but holy tangent, reeling you back in. Practicing out loud is one of the better things that you can do in your off time or in your downtime, right? And then while you're doing that, if you have everything set up and your recording software is working and everything is set where it's supposed to be, and as far as you're comfortable with, then record it and start making samples with it, right? Put it to work. But reading out loud is probably, I think, one of the best things that you can do. The more I do this, the more I love this and realize I am where I am supposed to be. Angela got me here. No. You got yourself here. I just maybe, pushed you a little bit. I might have given you a nice friendly shove. I might have encouraged you a little bit, but you took that step. You got you here. I'm just a cheerleader on the sidelines. You did that work, and be proud of that. Glowen says the poll, 0 clients, but hopefully that changes with my new hardware and DAW. It sounds like it will. It sounds like the new setup that you have is going to be really good for you. So And that is just one step, of course. We need to make sure that your audio quality and everything, it sounds like it's already probably there, but we'll just make sure you get you dialed in. And then we need to get you out there. We need to get you in front of people or in front of their ears, right? So they can hear you. Pamela says the LA oceanside weather is gorgeous. I'm sure it is. I miss it. Why the rest of the country hates us during the Rose Parade. I miss the Rose Parade too. Shanna says, what platforms would you recommend a beginner to focus on, such as Fiverr, Upwork, etc.? I used to, I'll tell you what I did. We'll start there. I started on ACX because I sort of had my blinders on to everything else, and all I wanted to do was audiobooks. But as I went along, I discovered that more people wanted my voice for other things. And so they would ask, they say, hey, I see you do audiobooks, but could you record my phone greeting? Could you record the voiceover for my PowerPoint? Could you a commercial, video games? And it just went on and on and on from there. So once I realized that voiceover could be used for all the applications that voiceover can be used, which is just about anywhere anybody is talking to an audience of any kind, right? There's so many applications for voiceover. Then you want to get to a place that's more available globally, and maybe not just pigeonhole yourself as a audiobook narrator, because again, there are literally over 100 different platforms in which you can find voiceover work. There's, like I said before, Voquent, Voice Giant, Voice Jungle. There's Bidalgo, Voice 123. And then there's the freelance marketplaces like Fiverr, Upwork, Guru, Freelancer. And then there's other places that are kind of like Casting Call. I'm thinking Casting Call literally is one of them, Backstage, and there's a few others. But I think if you just do like a easy like Google search for voiceover work, you'll find a bunch of these different places. I had a list somewhere of all the different places, but there's new places being opened and added all the time. And then, of course, you don't want to limit yourself to just casting sites. You want to make direct connections with clients as well. So in that respect, start in your community, start nearby in your local area. Get yourself a shirt. Yes, I've done this and it works. Get yourself a shirt with your logo and your contact information on it, and wear it when you're doing your errands, when you're out and about, and people will ask you, hey, what's your shirt about? What is that? And then you start to say, well, this is what I do. I live locally. And then you can start a conversation with the business owners in your area. And then, reach out, find companies that are doing or creating the kinds of content that you want to add your voice to on Google, LinkedIn, social media in general, and reach out to them. You don't want to limit yourself to casting sites. You want to have direct clients as well. And then also advertising, what you can do on social media via, just sharing stuff about you, showing what you're doing in your studio, like what I'm currently working on, kinds of things. Those will definitely help market yourself on social media as well. So that was a very long-winded answer to your question. But to start, I would start with just maybe 2 or 3 until you get the hang of being sort of on call for, 24/7. And not literally 24/7, but you have to be available to answer questions, provide quotes, be available to your clients. And once you sort of get the hang of that, then start branching out to other casting sites. So you're not overwhelmed right away. You don't want to burn yourself out before you even get started. And where I started, and I realized I didn't answer my own question from before, but anyway, Angela, don't get carried away. I started on ACX, and then I went to Fiverr and Upwork because there's generally a lot more activity. There's a lot more traffic there. And the reasoning for that is because of all of the other platforms that there are, voices.com, Voice 123, Bidalgo, those are just for voiceover. Whereas Fiverr and Upwork, I figured there might be a whole lot more traffic there and a lot more variability in the ways that people could find me just by the sheer traffic. That's why I chose those places. And then I started to build sort of a platform on which I could, grow further on the other sites. Was that tangent number 2, 3? I hope all of that, something in all of that answered your question. Uh, Joyce here. She has the name that perfectly describes her. She is just pure joy. Joy says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Joy. Happy holidays. I have a blue Snowball Ice USB mic. Just like you said, go with the mic that works for you as long as it gets clients for you. Well, mine works just great for me. That's great. And then you could also set yourself a goal of once you hit, this X money mark, or put a little bit of each job, a little bit of money from each job away, and then have a goal of your next mic, right? And then reward yourself with new gear. It's habit forming. So just be careful. Glowin says, I'm going to focus on ACX to get some chops. They are essentially a free platform and a lot of per finished hour offers there. I personally find Fiverr and Voices to be professional and higher expectations. Voices, yes. Voice 123, yes. Fiverr, although there are a lot of, believe it or not, there are Fortune 500 companies on Fiverr looking for not only voice actors, but other talent. There's a lot more businesses now ever since the pandemic, a few years ago. There's a lot more companies that have experienced or been introduced to outsourcing, that how easy it is to outsource more stuff, right? Especially when we had half their workforce at home or nobody in the office at all. They had to probably outsource a lot more stuff. So they've gone, we can go to these places like Fiverr and Upwork. So even more traffic, even more bigger clientele, bigger companies are on Fiverr and Upwork, believe it or not. I just saw the next comment. I vote tangents. Who is that? Colette. Don't encourage the tangent. Joya says, they are not tangents. They are mini stories critical to learning. Okay, I won't beat myself up so much about the tangents. I just hate that I just like verbal diarrhea all over you. I feel like I'm just blah, blah, blah. But if you guys enjoy it, then I will continue begrudgingly. Dylan says, here in southern Michigan, it's dark gray, raining, just above freezing, and everything is covered in mud. I understand if you're all jealous. I was with you until just above freezing and everything's covered in mud. Because, I think it's going to be a record here in Arizona. It's going to be like 83 today, like in December. Come on. David Horn says, okay, we'll do. Sophia Ray Bishop says, good morning. Good morning, Sophia. Jamie Rod says, hello, everyone. And Glowin brings us Timmy's. David Horn says, what Facebook page can I post on? Oh, if you're in my Facebook group, the VO Workshop, that is where I encourage you to share your demos, share your pictures, share your story, share your, your progress, share it. Do it. So again, my do I have a banner? Hold on, do I have a banner? I thought I did, but I'm not that fancy. The VO Workshop is my Facebook group. Lost my place. What happened? There we go. Glowin says to Jamie Rod, LOL, where did you think I got them? The donuts. Dylan says, since we're talking about clients, do you have any advice on dealing with a rights holder that doesn't answer any questions? It's a publisher, not an author, but it's been radio silent since the 15-minute check. I would just keep at them. Ultimately, if you're not like the due date for the remainder of the book is not really set in stone, you're not going to be punished or if you go past it, obviously you need to know if the 15 minutes is agreeable or not before you move forward with the remainder of the book. So I would just keep maybe sending them a message to remind them to approve it or not approve it. And then once they do approve it, if it's been like weeks or something, just remind them that, hey, I had to wait to get the okay before I finish the remainder of the book in this fashion. So I might need to extend out that due date, right? It's not any fault of yours. You're just sort of in a holding pattern and that stinks. But just keep nudging them is what I would do. Saying, hey, the more time that you take to approve or deny, the more time it's going to take, obviously, the further it's going to push us past the deadline, right? And then once you have a verbal agreement in writing on ACX, then, ACX would be like, oh, okay, well, you guys have talked about it. Everything's cool, right? So that's what I would do. Joy says, what is your poll question? I see the choice selections, but I can't see the question itself. It's right above the choice selections. But to answer your question, how many clients have you worked with so far is the poll question. And then since Joy is asking, let's go to the votes. We've got 41 votes. 41 votes. Holy shnikes. So it looks like 66% of you said 0 to 5. And it doesn't have to be, in your country or international, just generally speaking. How many clients have you had so far? 17% of you said 5 to 20. 10% of you said 20 to 100. And then 7% of you said 100 plus. Okay. Because I was trying to get a pulse on where you guys are at, right? So I kind of know how far back to go with answering questions, I suppose. Gives me an idea of what I need to talk about or tangent about. Okay. Where did I leave at? Oh, then Dylan's answering Joy's question. Facebook user, this is Rick Hall. On this link, you can talk chat with Angela. Facebook isn't working well with the chat. What did you put in there? The YouTube? Oh, for the YouTube chat. I gotcha. Yeah, I don't think the link came through, but yeah, you can, while I'm live, you can definitely chat, put your comments in to the chat. Glowen says, after this podcast, I'm going to my booth to get some advice on the ACX requirements, like normalizing for the top and bottom levels, more or less where in Reaper to set those. I think there's a few people in our group. That would be a great question to pose in Discord, because there are a handful of people that are very adept at using Reaper that can probably answer that question. I don't use Reaper, so I probably wouldn't be the best person to ask about that for Reaper specifically. Bear338 says, so studio question. I cannot decide on a 5 or 6 foot ceiling. What is the consensus here? I would say, depending on your height, and then also considering that you're going to be adding a lot of either insulation or soundproofing, things of that nature, I'd probably go taller rather than shorter, because the last thing you want to do is after it's done, you have to stand in there like this. That just would not be comfortable. So if you have the option and you have the ability to, I would go 6 foot, probably. That's what I would say. Joy says, cool. Thanks, Dylan. Tim Gleason says, on the business track, are there resources for contract templates, invoice templates, payment collection platforms, things like that? Contract templates. I want to say, I've seen a few voice artists on social media share templates that you can change. I know ACX has a contract template in the downloads. If you're on the ACX homepage, you scroll, well, it used to be before they changed it, so I could be wrong now, but down at the bottom, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, there's a downloads link that you click. And once you click that, it'll take you to all of the downloadable content they have. And one of those is a template contract for audiobooks. Where did I get mine? I want to say that I had purchased my contract template from another voice artist who was selling them. What was his name? Super Steve, something like that. But he's His moniker is something super, super. I'll have to see if I can find that. I'll have to change it. But invoice templates, if you're using a place, for me anyway, PayPal Business, there's an invoice template in there, and they just sort of prompt you what to add into where. But in the notes section at the bottom, I inserted a piece of my contract that basically says that sort of almost like an NDA, where I'm not going to be sharing any information, any sensitive information, things like that. But then, mitigation information. I'm not by any means a lawyer or anything like that. So I can't give specifics for obvious reasons because I'm not qualified to. But payment collection platforms like PayPal Business, there's also QuickBooks. I think a little bit of Googling, and if you have a somebody that you can speak to about the verbiage of the fine print, then that would be probably the best way to go. I hate not being able to answer the question, but for obvious reasons, I don't want to get sued because I don't know what I don't know. Glowen says to Bear, I have to raise mine to 6'6" because when I'm standing to give a performance, my head is on the ceiling. Good point. So if you have the ability to go even taller than 6 foot, you might want to do that, especially if you are over 6 foot. You don't want to be uncomfortable. Caesar says, I was going to say 6 foot feels kind of low. You'll need the headroom for acoustic treatment and potentially overhead mics if you ever need them. That's a great idea. It's a great point also, because if you have, depending on how it's configured on the inside and where you have to mount a microphone arm, a boom arm, it might even need, like for the scissor arm. I mean, it's all going to depend on how you have the inside of it configured too. But I would say use all of the headspace that you have available to you. That's probably a better answer. Consorcio says, good day, Lady Angela. Good day, Consorcio. How are you? Wishing you and yours a wonderful holiday season and prosperous 2024. I echo that. I say the same for everybody watching. And I think the majority of you have been chatting and following for this community chat for a long while. And I appreciate all of you. I really do. I appreciate the time that you take to not only hang out with me and answer questions and comment on my tangents and things, but to also share what you know with everybody else watching. I love it. Joya says, Glowen's dialed in with equipment and plug-in DAW setup. He just needs someone to push him into reading all genres and not just nonfiction. Is that what it is, Glowen? He needs to work on the acting side now. Good place to be. Okay. Glowen says, I foolishly built mine to accommodate just sitting at the mic and laptop. But sometimes I find I need to stand to give more expressive performance. Yes. I think sitting for audiobooks is probably going to be ideal, but not sitting for everything. If you're getting into video games and things like that, where you need more control of the diaphragm, more expression, like Glowen said, standing is going to be a better bet. So you want to give yourself room to stand and gesticulate, move around, right? Dwight is here. Hey, Dwight. Hi, Angela. Hi, Dwight. Good to see you. Kelsey V says, howdy, Angela and company. Haven't made it on here in a while. Happy to be here. Happy that you're here. Happy that you're spending some time. Barb Cam. Hello, Angela. So glad to catch you live. I'm so glad that you did. Good to see you. I don't literally see you, but you know what I mean. Glowen says to Joya, I'll get there, Joya. So far, I'm a little intimidated by the character voices aspect, hoping that comes with time, and it will. It will, and it will with practice. And what day is it on? We're doing What's My Voice in the Platinum group midway through the month. Okay, it's not this week or the week after. It's the third Thursday. We're doing What's My Voice? Well, we'll be doing exactly that. We'll be exploring character voices based on images and attributes of that character, mainly for like animation and video games and things like that. So we'll have some fun with exploring what kind of voices that you are capable of. So that'll be perfect for that. Caesar says, on the subject of gear milestones, I must say I've rewarded myself with gear 14 times. Yeah, Caesar's got a bit of a habit, I think. For you says, do you think we need to have a special predisposition to sound amazing? No. No. Mm-mm. In fact, I hated the sound of my own voice in the beginning, but I wanted to do this. I wanted to be an audiobook narrator. I wanted to be the voice in video games. I wanted to do all of these things and hating my voice in the progress. Then I come to find that that's very normal because our voices in our heads sound much different when they're outside of our heads, and it's very cringy. But you get used to it. You get used to it. The more and more that you do it and you hear the sound of your own voice outside of your head, you do get used to it. And I think lately, in the last like year, maybe, all of the commercials that I've heard, everything where there's a voice actor voicing the project, it sounds like the more unique voices are being used more and more often, meaning they don't sound like everybody else, right? They have a little bit of character to them. So if you don't think that you sound amazing, is it because that you have something unique, right? If you do, I mean, no matter what you think about your own voice, you could be completely wrong. I think Caesar even had a problem with his voice, and he's just amazing. Think Tim Curry. That's what he sounds like to me. So, no, you don't need a Why am I having a hard time with that word? A predisposition to sound amazing. Just be you and give your voice to the world. Glowen says, LOL, Caesar, you got up this morning. You need a reward. Joya says to Glowen, I showed you the first steps in pitch changing last night. You can do it. Just believe in yourself. Yes. Chow Jonathan B says, I'm definitely here for the rants. I'm here for the donuts. Where are the donuts? Tanya says, wow, I'm moving to Arizona. It's cold here in Wisconsin. It's nice right now. But in the summer, it gets up to 120. But I get it. I couldn't deal with the snow either. I would freeze. Rick Hall says, hello, Angela. Hello, Rick Hall. I have done many LibriVox readings and have improved some, but have so much further to go. Look forward to your chats, meetings, and input from the group. That's good. Practice, practice, practice. Caesar says to Glowen, I brushed my teeth. Time for a new piece of hardware. Hey, man, if that's what it takes. Why not? Glowen says to Dylan, I feel your cold pain. Spent a lot of time yesterday and again this morning clearing snow and scraping ice. Smite Night. That's cute. Regarding your recording space, did you find that moving blankets without foam was enough to treat the space? And how do you deal with ventilation? This room, I wish I had a booth. I wish I had, if I had it my way, if I had room for one, I would have a Studio Bricks VO edition. I would. But my house is like, it's like a playhouse. I have a little tiny townhouse. I have no room in here for anything. But it had this weird little closet / office space in it. So this is what I'm in now. It's a 5x6 room. I really don't know what the original purpose was of it, but I'm using it. So it has a air conditioning. It has a vent. It has a HVAC vent in it. So that's how I deal with ventilation. And when I'm not recording, I have the door open so I can get some air in here so I don't asphyxiate myself. But as far as treatment, I have acoustic foam, like the egg crates, the little wedge tiles. I have those behind the moving blankets. So that is enough to reduce the reverberation and other, artifacts that come up with an untreated room. It is not soundproof by any stretch. I can still hear people outside. My unit is literally about 15 feet from a playground. So when the kids come out to play, I obviously can't record. I'll just edit. I'll do something else. But I find that the foam and the moving blankets has been enough to improve the quality of my sound in this space. Now, every space is going to be different. You might not need all of that. You might need one or the other, right? So in testing, you'll find the answer. But that's what I did. David Horn says, "Okay, great. Sent join request. Cool beans. I'll check those out after the live." Glowen says, "To Smite Night, I did that, but have since been guided to hang some T-shirts inside to give them a more rippled effect, as the blankets are too smooth." It's a good point. It's a good point. Every space is going to be a little bit different. Joya to Glowen says, "Hit me up on Discord at the end of this, and I'll go through the normalization and more setup with you and Reaper." There you go. Joya, she's the master of Reaper. She'll help you out. She's in our group. Smite Knight says to Glowen, "I've got quite a bit of high quality foam, but it would reduce the space substantially. So that's a good idea with the shirts." Yeah, there we go. See, nuggets. Gold nuggets. If you got the nuggets, share your nuggets with the rest of us. Share those gold nuggets. Drop those gold nuggets on us. David says, "I'm also in Arizona." All right, fellow Arizonian. Kelsey V says, I'll be heading out, so I'll have time to journal and get my day going, but great to see you all." Great to see you too, journaling. I can't bring myself to do that. I know it's a good habit to have, but I can't bring myself to do it. Glamwin says to Joya, "Thank you. I can't wait to get those final presets completed so I can get a couple of auditions out today." Yes! Get those auditions out, Glowin. Joy says, "It's 40 degrees cold and cloudy here. Could someone in the Sunbelt states please send up some warmer temps and sunshine here, please? My plants are looking down in the dumps and I can use it too." Oh my gosh. It was cold last night though, but cold to me is anything below 73. I don't have a thyroid anymore. I get cold really easy. Bear338 says 5'11". I'm 5'10". Tall people unite. Glowin says 6'1" here. My ceiling is only 5'10". Oh, ooh. That stinks. That stinks. JCCAOL says, "Hey, Angela, have you known anyone that has to deal with a lisp?" Yes, and it did not stop them. I may at some point get Invisalign next year, and I know the vampire fangs. And I know, like vampire fangs, you may have a lisp. Your thoughts? I don't think that anything that makes your voice unique, I think, is a plus, or is maybe not what you think it is, right? Even with your opinion on your voice might not be what the rest of the world perceives as your voice, right? What you think may be a problem may not be a problem to anyone else but you, right? So don't go into this looking at your voice as the problem. Go into this with, my voice is unique. My voice is unique to me. And along with your experiences and your perceptions and your life experience, that makes your take on things, your sound, completely unique in the world. So don't go in this with the idea that your voice is the problem. Your voice is unique. Use that. Go that way. Caesar says, "This week's the Group Bravo review, I think." It is. And then next Thursday, the Thursday after that will be the roulette read. And then the Thursday after that, I believe, is What's My Voice. Following week will be What's My Voice. Actually looking forward to that. Are we going to ad lib our own reads like the last one? That's a great question. Because that's the same problem that we ran into last time with we had images, then we came up with the voice, but we didn't have anything to say in that voice. Might have to do some like Chat GPT or something for some lines. I'm still working on it, but I'll have something together by then. Dylan says, "What's My Voice sounds like a ton of fun. Can't wait." It was the last time we did it. It was really fun the last time we did it. Joy says, Angela, I'm in the process of onboarding with Backstage, and it strongly suggested I pick a stage name so people can find me. Just use your name. If you're going to use your name on every platform, just keep it uniform so people can see you. It's branding, right? You want to use, like for me, I'll use my natural name, and then I also use my moniker, voiceover Angela. I use one or the other, if not both, on everywhere that I'm at, so I'm easily recognizable, right? So just do that. That is your stage name. Or if you want to have a different name, you could too. Tim Gleason says, not liking your voice. Reminds me of my early days in radio. I was one of those students who couldn't hardly open the mic, but once they got used to it, couldn't shut them up. Mhm. Masonry Construction says, do some live performances. In other words, storytelling, reading for others. You'll automatically add hand motions. I'm doing it right now. You'll automatically add hand motions and facial expressions. Yes, don't ever go into doing voiceover like this because you're not going to get much out of it. If you go into voiceover like this, you'll get a lot more out of it, right? With your face. Use your face, use your body. It'll just come across so much more naturally, which will carry into your VO work. Absolutely. Joy says, I picked Joy Clark West VO. I haven't hit the save button for my voice profile on Backstage, but any thoughts? AI, joyful noise, double joy. If they're asking for your name, I think it's prompted as stage name because some actors use like a pseudonym, like a professional stage name, but you're not required to. Just use your name if that's the name that you're going to use across platforms. Just keep it uniform, keep it consistent. Branding, right? Tanya says, is it possible for someone with dyslexia to be a narrator voiceover artist? I have heard of a handful of voice artists that are dyslexic, that are still able to be voice actors. And again, your first take doesn't have to be the only take. Your first take is whatever it needs to be, right? Whatever it is that you're reading while you're narrating it and recording it, if you need several takes to get through it, you need several takes to get through it. The end result is going to be polished and edited and right. So your first take doesn't need to be the only take. So don't look at it that way. You have plenty of time to say it as many times as you need to get it out correctly or how it's written. So yes. Dylan says, just a quick plug for the Platinum Group. Everybody here has seen how excited for each other's success we get and how much we help each other out. It's well worth the small cost. Thank you, Dylan. And now I'm just, I have to talk about it now. I'm compelled to mention the Platinum Group is what he's referring to. My Platinum Group on my website, voiceoverangela.com. If you go to the pricing page, it's $20 a month. It has been for a couple of years now. It's a lot more than just the weekly meetings, but we do meet every week on Thursday. And we also have a Discord where everybody can communicate and ask questions and share, and it's not just all voiceover or audiobooks too. We talk about, there's a book club. There's all kinds of stuff in there. But this group is so tight knit and so supportive. It really is like family. And I'm just so thankful and proud of this group. And if you would like to be part of it, the community and the love and support and the fun that we have in these weekly meetings, then please go check it out. We'd love to have you. Glowin says, excellent plug, Dylan. And don't forget to punch that like button, but not literally. Don't be like Caesar and break your monitor or something. Click the like button. I would appreciate it. Joy says, I picked Joy because it's my nickname. But just consider that you're going to have to keep that name across platforms. So if somebody finds you on Backstage, but maybe they come across you and they go, oh, I really like her voice, and that's her name. And then they come across you somewhere else and they'll recognize you and they'll go, oh, okay, it's that same lady that I liked over here, right? Branding. Caesar says, the Platinum Group is amazing. First time I heard about it, I was like, yeah, I need to join. The weekly activities are a plus, but the group is just amazing. Also, pants are optional. Well, I think that just goes with voiceover in general. PJs, having PJ party in your booth. Also, if you're doing a live directed session, most of your clients only see this much. Eh. So I say be comfortable. Be comfortable in your booth. Okay. Anyway, it's been about an hour. I'm gonna go get back to work myself, but I thank you all for being here and sharing your golden nuggets with everybody else. I will be back, and hopefully you will be too, next week, next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel, 12 p.m. EST. And if you have something, and a few of you have given me really great ideas, but if you're watching this on replay or even right now, um, if you have an idea or a topic of something that you want to discuss as a group, then please leave that in the comment section. It may end up being a topic for a future discussion. So with that, everybody, I will see you all next week. Have a fabulous week and practice, 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 and eat a donut. Bye.